McLaughlin, point for Stanford.
And along with those 4 aces, remember that he has 3 or 4 that he hit so hard they bounce back over the net. They don't count as aces, but that leads to direct points. So he's really got something more like 8 when you count the overpasses of Penn State on his serve.
That hits the antenna. Point for Stanford. A big difference for Penn State tonight versus Cal State Northridge on Thursday. Look at that. Ryan Wolf at -357. Tonight hitting -625. Changing it up on the serve. Free ball for Stanford. Lawson. Why not?
Exactly. He's probably going to go through this match without a single hitting error. And when the other team knows that you're going to get the ball a lot, that is very difficult to do.
18-11. Stanford on top of Penn State. Crush the coconut. Win one for Al. Worst to first. The fans here all know about it. Al Rodriguez, a longtime assistant coach. Began in 1992. They wear the patch on the sleeve that says Al. Al Rodriguez passed away on March 19th after a long battle with stomach cancer. Kavika Shoji spoke about what it would mean to win this and what it means to have played for Al Rodriguez.
I was quoted in one of the papers at Stanford saying that he is one of my heroes, and that's exactly how I feel about him. He is my hero. We were very close throughout the last 3 years, and he's just been a great inspiration for our program. In freshman year, when we were really struggling and going through some tough times, he kept everything in perspective. You know, he told us to be patient, and he had trust in us that we would improve and come back stronger every year.
Al Rodriguez passed away on March 19th, but days before his death, the team presented him with a photo collage, a copy of the standings in 2007 when they were in last place, and a copy of the standings in 2010 as the new #1. He died 11 days after Stanford climbed atop the poll. You got to think that Al Rodriguez was just fighting to stay alive to see that team #1. And now it's almost eerie, the feeling you get sitting here watching and looking at these players compete.
And Costi says he is such a revered part of this community. He's guessing at least half the crowd here either knows Big Al directly or knows of him because he touched so many lives in terms of being a high school teacher who went away, got his teaching degree, and then came back to teach for 37 years in the high school district where he attended school, and then the volleyball that he got into and got to give so many people his start.
Max Lipsitz gets the point for Penn State.
And we heard from Kavika, he's a big part of that equation of this turnaround, because once he decided to come here, that helped and took a risk in a sense. That program was not doing well. But once he decided to come here, other good players did too. And now the Stanford program's loaded. Got 7 new players coming in next year. There are some who feel they might even be better next year.
Lawson, another kill for Stanford. A substitution as Jake Cannella will come in to serve now. Next year's championship will be hosted by Penn State. To expand on what kind of a person Al Rodriguez was, he was diagnosed with stomach cancer in 2008. He was given 2 months to live. He passed away in March of 2010. Great dig by McLaughlin.
First by Shoji, then by McLaughlin. And then the error. The error comes because Penn State's thinking, how do we put a ball away? We just gave him 2 of our best shots. I got to hit it even harder, and it launches out of bounds.
Long on the serve, 2013, Stanford leading.
I don't know if you heard that heckle from the Stanford crowd just now. There's nothing you can do, and that's kind of what's happening here. Lawson unstoppable. The Stanford defense controlling the very best hits Penn State has.
Lawson again. unstoppable. Brad Lawson will want a DVD of this match, and he'll want to bronze it.
Yeah, bronze it, gold it, whatever it takes.
Romero, the good serve. Sunder kept alive by Eric Shoji. Lawson again.
He is now 22 kills in 25 attempts. 880. And there is nothing anybody can do on the other side of the net.
22-13, Stanford. Shoji, another dig. Never touched by Penn State. Point for Penn State. The chant, tie your shoes, by these Stanford fans, because Edgardo Goas was the one who had the shoe untied in a timely situation. The dump by Kavika Shoji. Turns into a point, a miss hit by Tomas Pereira.
A better choice there is just stay on the ground, use your forearms, get the ball over the net. Can't expect to get a kill on a Stanford team this talented.
Look who's serving.
From 20 feet off the net.
Mr. Lawson. With his match, he deserves to be called Mr.
He can be called anything he wants to. That's the best passer for Penn State, and they're struggling to get the ball over the net.
Lawson from the back.
Oh, his first error, and it's only because he stepped on that line. That's 10 feet, 3 meters away from the net. His first error of the match, and it was nothing the other team did. You see right there, his left foot on the line. Good call by the referees. If he'd have been 2 inches further back, he'd still be perfect.
Spencer McLaughlin. Stanford and Penn State, the men's teams, don't have a great history. The women's teams, they do have a fantastic history. The Penn State women beat Stanford for the national championship in 1999. Then again in 07, and then again in 08. The last time the women's team actually lost a match was against Stanford on September 15th of 2007. The men are now trying to do what the women of Stanford couldn't do against this Penn State team.
Exacting a little revenge here.
Lawson almost got the assist on the set. The point and the kill for Gus Ellis. This is what we were talking about, Penn State versus Stanford in the women's volleyball championship. Stanford won in 97, then 99, 07, 08, belonging to Penn State. Jason Palacios in to serve. Joe Sunder gets it blocked, but it hits the floor. Point for Penn State. 6,635 fans here at Maples Pavilion to watch this championship match. Another reason why John Costi, they had this year in mind to turn it all around, to go from worst to first, to host it here.
Oh, that was all part of the plan. In fact, Stanford has never hosted before. Northern California has never held an NCAA men's final until this year.
Kavika Shoji with a dunk, the two-handed dunk.
Kavika Shoji just jamming it into the block of Max Lipsitz. Puts it away, outpowering him.
Spencer McLaughlin. 27-16. Stanford 3 points away from a national championship.
Now even Romero getting the act with a sideways set, forearm set, perfectly located for McLaughlin.
Kavika Shoji, the National Player of the Year. The Pied Piper. Some adrenaline on that serve.
Oh, he's going for the ace, clearly there. And he can afford to with a 10-point lead.
Will Price now to serve for Penn State, down by 10 here in set number 3. (28-17). Spencer McLaughlin with his dad, Chris McLaughlin, on the bench as an assistant coach. Block. Lawson, match point. Their journey from worst to first. And Penn State able to extend this match for at least one more point.
Well, it sure would be appropriate if Lawson finished it out. 22 kills and 26 attempts.
Tomas Pereira to serve for Penn State. Kept alive. Lawson. Stanford, worst to first is complete. This one's for Al. You saw the tears from Dave Shoji, his 2 sons on this team for Stanford. From 3-25 as freshmen to national champions as senior. What a story. John Costi, when we spoke to him on Wednesday, said the season has been bittersweet. You know they're all thinking about Al Rodriguez right now.
They got to be thinking he's watching from